The new plus 600-mile ERA 9X EREV is official in China but unlikely to reach most Western buyers despite its size, range, and clever drivetrain. VW ID.ERA 9X is a full-size SUV with extended-range EV tech. 3 powertrain options include rear and all-wheel drive. Dual-motor version produces 510 horsepower with 199 miles EV range. As more carmakers double down on their efforts to cater specifically to China's fast-evolving EV market, buyers in other parts of the world are being left out of some genuinely interesting vehicles. The VW ID.ERA 9X is one of the latest examples, and it brings quite a bit to the table. Revealed through filings with China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, as well as VW itself, this new production SUV emerges from the SAIC Volkswagen joint venture. It's a large, range-extender SUV positioned to compete in a growing segment of vehicles that blend electric driving with longer-distance practicality. Battery electric SUVs are increasingly common in China, but they still don't meet the needs of every buyer. That's where extended-range EVs, or EREVs, come into their own. The VW ID.ERA 9X, which somewhat curiously shares its 9X badge with Zeekr's own EREV SUV, is bigger than many popular Western model, including the VW Atlas and Touareg. It even edges out the BMW X7 in overall length. Measuring 5,207 mm, 205 inches, long, 1,997 mm, 78.6 inches, wide, and 1,810 mm, 71.2 inches, tall, the ERA 9X rides on a 3,070 mm, 120.8-inch wheelbase. For reference, the BMW X7 comes in at 5,181 mm, 204 inches, in length, 2,000 mm, 78.7 inches, wide, and 1,805 mm, 71.1 inches, tall, with a 3,105 mm, 122.2-inch wheelbase. This makes the ID.ERA 9X slightly longer and taller, though marginally narrower and with a slightly shorter wheelbase. In terms of footprint, it's firmly in full-size luxury SUV territory. VW built a bigger ID SUV than the X7 and you can't have it. The exterior design remains remarkably close to the original ID.ERA concept that VW unveiled earlier last year, with a premium and contemporary look that hasn't been watered down much in the transition to production. Volkswagen hasn't revealed the production interior yet. But if it mirrors the concept closely, expect a massive dashboard-spanning infotainment system to carry over. There may also be an optional roof-mounted display for rear passengers. The spec sheet confirms that the ID.ERA 9X will come with 6 seats in a 2+2+2 arrangement. Where things get more interesting is under the skin. The ID.ERA 9X is an extended-range electric vehicle, using a gasoline engine only to charge the battery. Volkswagen will offer it in 3 powertrain configurations, with both rear and all-wheel drive options. The base model features a single rear-mounted electric motor producing 220 kilowatts, 295 horsepower, powered by a 51.1 kilowatt-hours LFP battery. It delivers a pure electric range of up to 267 kilometers, 166 miles. The curb weight comes in at 2,600 kilograms, 5,732 pounds. The second variant uses the same electric motor driving the rear wheels but swaps in a larger 65.2 kilowatt-hour NMC battery. This upgrade boosts the pure electric range to 340 kilometers, 211 miles. It weighs slightly more at 2,620 kilograms, 5,776 pounds. Finally, at the top end, it keeps the 65.2 kilowatt-hour battery but adds a second electric motor on the rear axle, bumping total output to 380 kilowatts, 510 horsepower. This dual-motor setup increases curb weight to 2,700 kilograms, 5,952 pounds. Pure electric range drops slightly to 321 kilometers, 199 miles. While full combined range figures haven't been published, all three configurations are expected to comfortably exceed 1,000 kilometers, over 600 miles, when using both battery and gasoline power, depending on the final gas tank capacity. Pricing is still under wraps and should be announced in the coming months before the vehicle officially goes on sale. While a Western launch isn't confirmed, there's reason to keep a small window of optimism open for certain markets. Mazda already offers its China-built JV models in Europe and Australia, having debuted the new CX-6e SUV earlier today, and Nissan is preparing to follow suit. It's not out of the question for Volkswagen to consider doing the same with the ID.ERA 9X, at least in select international markets, though a US launch is firmly off the table.